Okay, believe it or not, the super project is back. Technically, it hasn't actually been anywhere. I've been tinkering on it in the background for many months now, ever since post 10. But it's just, I made a huge mistake and I did not have the energy to dig myself out of it. But after all these months, I've finally gotten somewhere. Long story short, I made a bunch of gigantic sweeping changes, and then I realized halfway through basically rewriting the entire project and breaking everything that what I was doing was really dumb and I didn't want to do it anymore. But the problem was I did not have a backup of my code because my hard drive died. So I was stuck in a position where I either had to manually undo everything and go back to an old version, again manually by remaking all of it myself, or I could continue coding and finish what I was doing. But I didn't like what I was doing, so either way it was a huge slog. But I decided to go backwards in time when I rebuilt the project. I basically made no progress. I just took us back to post 10. I had a lot of things being overhauled, and I just realized it was the wrong direction. I'll talk about it later in my blog, but I've realized that not developing towards gameplay is a really bad idea because I'm just developing in a sort of echo chamber, I guess. So going forward, the super project and all of my other projects will be having a gameplay-centric, goal for my development. Programming, coding, I don't know what to call it, damn it. You know what I mean. Right now, for the super project especially, I've been trying to build all the mechanics, the simulation, the systems, all those buzzwords first, and then my idea was after all that stuff was established, then I would add gameplay. But again, I've realized that's a really bad thing to do, because if you're not constantly adding gameplay, you can't evaluate what you've added so far, if that makes sense. So this realization is why I abandoned that update I was working on and went back to a previous version. But things are now back on track, so let me show you what I've been working on. Here is the new system where factions all come from civilians. So once there's 10 civilians, like so, then the other factions will randomly pull a single civilian and convert it. So if you choose a random civilian to watch, eventually they'll be converted to a faction. So we'll watch this guy right here. And I'm hopefully recording my mouse. Yeah, there we go. See, he just turned blue, I think. It's so fast it's hard to tell. So we'll watch this guy. Yeah, see, he just turned pink. Or maroon, auburn, whatever that color is. So this doesn't look too different at first, but if we watch for long enough, you'll notice it actually is quite different. The biggest difference is the lack of balance, which sounds like a bad thing, but that is exactly what I wanted. There's always a strong person and a weak person, or a strong faction and a weak faction, and not to get too philosophical here, but the strong eat the weak. You know, I didn't like in the previous versions how everything was perfectly balanced. There would always be, how many factions are there? All 7 factions would usually be on the map in a similar size, and nobody could really kill each other off or become the dominant force. That's not fully possible yet, but I'm a step closer. So now, as you can see, I think yellow is going to be the dominant faction. Every single time I run this simulation now, there's always one dominant faction, everybody else dies off. So if we look right here, yellow has 14 people, and that's 41% of the entire population on the map. The second biggest faction is the civilians. Civilians never go over 30 units right now. I currently have them maxed, but the gangsters have no max. So they could theoretically have 1 billion units. And for some reason, blue has 0. I think they're just really unlucky. Yeah, they just got one. Oh, I see what's happening. Since yellow controls so much of the map, yeah, see right there? So because yellow controls most of the map, they now own most of the civilians. Like, not literally, but the civilians are in yellow's territory, and since that's their territory, the moment an enemy spawns in it, like right there, see, they get attacked. So they never have a chance to escape yellow's territory and go reinforce their territory. Except for blue up here cheating. I haven't gotten rid of that yet. That's my next step. Right now, I don't have proper faction death enabled. Factions can dominate the map, but due to the way I have the game programmed, factions can't be properly killed off. They can always come back. So even if yellow controlled the entire map, they can still lose territory to a random civilian being turned to a different faction. And that's because factions are not coded to be killed off yet. These are all hard-coded factions. I named them, I gave them their color, etc., etc. I haven't figured out how to make them procedurally or dynamically, whatever you want to call it, because there's just so much manual code involved. I don't know how to automate it and let factions like permanently die off and otherwise, or the opposite, spawn out of thin air. I can do it. It'll just, God, take a lot of work. Also, I'm surprised to see blue coming back. Now, once it is properly done, blue would have been killed off. And right now, orange, they should be killed off. Basically, what I plan to do is the moment a faction has 0 agents, they get killed off. But again, that's just not implemented yet. But yeah, due to the more random nature. Oh, did I explain this? Civilians are chosen at random, and then they choose a faction to join at random. There's no personality or real thought put into it yet. There will be eventually, but for now it's just random. I'm just taking baby steps. But yeah, I'm surprised to see yellow died off. Now blue's a dominant faction. I'm gonna keep watching until the map locks up. Usually what happens is one faction conquers the whole map, and then the game gets really laggy for reasons I don't really understand. I theorize the lag comes from the fact that all tiles have been claimed, and the AI is wasting all their time trying to find new tiles to claim, if that makes sense. They're basically doing endless flood fills, searching for unclaimed tiles, which is where all that lag comes from. Because the flood fill, instead of finding a target and what's it called, breaking the loop early, it has to search every single tile of the map in vain, which is the downside of flood fills. Oh, look at that. Yellow just tried to break out up there. Yeah, whenever a faction has no territory, they just start laying it down anywhere. That's why you saw blue spawn up here and conquer everything. So I think light blue's gonna win. Yeah, see, there's more yellow down here. Oh. Oh, never mind. I thought there would be another uprising, but nope. Blue snipped that in the bud. Yeah, I think blue's gonna conquer everything. You can see the other factions trying to spawn and make new territory. Again, that won't be possible pretty soon. They will not be able to respawn. Once all agents are done, they'll be killed off. Oh, and there we go. Here comes the lag. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this lag happens again because they're all trying to search for new territory, but they already own all of it. So that's a problem on my behalf. I should have them not bother searching if they already own everything. But I'll worry about that later, so I will see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna go figure out procedural factions now, I think. Or something. I don't know what I'll do.